What if justice isn't eternal? What if it's not carved in stone, dictated by the gods, or written in the stars, but simply agreed upon by humans for mutual peace? Epicurus dared to say just that. He argued that justice is not absolute, but a practical tool, something we create, adapt, and sometimes even discard when it no longer serves us. In a world torn between moral absolutism and chaotic relativism, Epicurus offers a third path, one rooted in utility, not divinity. It's not a cold calculation of self-interest, but a warm, pragmatic agreement. I won't harm you if you don't harm me. This idea is radical, unsettling, and deeply liberating. Welcome to the unfolding journey, where we explore timeless ideas, ancient philosophy, and human wisdom across the ages. Here, we dive into the minds of history's greatest thinkers to ask life's biggest questions, together. Today's journey takes us into the ethical core of Epicureanism, to understand how Epicurus redefined justice, not as a divine command, but as a human invention designed to make life more livable. Let's unfold the truth behind justice, fear, and the freedom to live peacefully. Epicurus was a radical thinker for his time. Living in ancient Greece around 341 to 270 BCE, he taught that the good life was one free from fear and pain, guided by reason and simple pleasures. But when it came to justice, he took a dramatically different stance from his philosophical peers. Where Plato envisioned justice as an ideal form, unchanging and eternal, and Aristotle saw it as tied to natural order and virtue, Epicurus broke away entirely. He claimed that justice is not universal. Instead, it's a social contract, an agreement among individuals to avoid harming one another in order to live in peace. In his words, justice is nothing in itself, but a compact made by men to avoid or prevent mutual injury. Epicurus, Principal Doctrines 33. This simple yet powerful idea places justice firmly in the hands of people, not gods, not kings, and not metaphysical truths. One of the most provocative aspects of Epicurus's ethics is his naturalistic view of morality. He explicitly rejected the notion that justice was dictated by the gods or derived from divine law. This was a bold move in a culture where fear of divine punishment, especially from the Olympian gods, was widespread. Epicurus taught that the gods may exist, but they are blissfully indifferent to human affairs. They neither reward nor punish us. Therefore, we must ground our moral systems in something else: human experience and mutual benefit. This led him to treat justice as a conventional arrangement. We agree not to harm each other, not because Zeus will strike us down if we steal, but because life is better, safer, and more pleasurable when we live in peace. In a world obsessed with virtue signaling, punishment, and divine judgment, Epicurus strips justice down to its practical roots. According to Epicurus, the only reason justice exists is because it is useful. It serves a purpose, to reduce fear and suffering. When laws and agreements promote mutual benefit and prevent harm, they are just. When they no longer do this, they cease to be just. Here's how he puts it: where therefore there is no compact made with one's neighbors to prevent mutual harm, there is no justice either. Principal Doctrines 37. This is justice grounded in reciprocity and practical consequences, not abstract morality. It resembles what modern political philosophers like Thomas Hobbes and John Locke would later call a social contract, a mutual agreement to form society for the benefit of all. Justice, then, is a moving target. It evolves with society's needs and circumstances. This view empowers people to question unjust laws and adapt norms to changing realities, a view that resonates with democratic and pluralistic ideals today. Unlike Plato's vision of eternal, immutable forms, Epicurus believed that justice varies by time and place. What is just in one society or era may not be just in another. This doesn't mean that anything goes, only that justice is contextual. The justice which arises from nature is a pledge of mutual advantage, to restrain men from harming one another and save them from being harmed. Principal Doctrines 31. If a law no longer serves that mutual advantage, it becomes obsolete. For Epicurus, laws are tools, not sacred commandments. This means we must continuously evaluate our laws and moral norms. Are they reducing harm? Are they promoting peace? Are they based on fear or reason? His message is clear: justice is not a frozen truth. It's a human invention, and like all inventions, it should be judged by how well it works. Epicurus was deeply concerned with human fear, especially fear of punishment. He saw irrational fears as major obstacles to happiness, and he viewed justice as a way to eliminate these fears. When people fear being harmed, robbed, or punished unfairly, they live in anxiety. But when society agrees on rules and enforces them consistently, people can live without fear, what he called ataraxia, or untroubled peace of mind. However, he also warned against superstition-based justice. When laws are enforced out of fear of divine wrath or irrational guilt, they create more fear, not less. This emphasis on psychology makes Epicurus strikingly modern. His view of justice isn't just social or legal, it's mental. It's about peace of mind as much as peace among people. To truly understand Epicurus's view, we need to contrast it with other philosophical schools. Plato, justice is an eternal form, reflected imperfectly in society. It's about aligning the soul with reason and hierarchy. Aristotle, justice is about giving people what they deserve, based on their role and virtue. Stoics, justice is a universal law, grounded in reason and nature. All rational beings are equal and subject to the same moral truth. Epicurus, justice is a mutual agreement to avoid harm, grounded in utility, context, and psychological benefit. There is no universal law, only human convention shaped by the need to live peacefully. This makes Epicurus unique among ancient philosophers. He anticipated modern pragmatism, legal realism, and even elements of utilitarian ethics. While Epicurus's theory of justice is elegant and liberating, it's not without critique. Moral relativism. If justice is based on mutual agreement, what happens when powerful groups impose unjust agreements on weaker ones? No ground for moral duty. If we only act justly to avoid harm, where does true moral commitment come from? Is this just enlightened self-interest? Flexibility versus stability. Constantly redefining justice may lead to moral instability. Can a society function without shared, lasting moral values? Epicurus might respond by saying that real stability comes from shared interest, not imposed absolutes, and that morality grounded in peace and well-being is more stable in practice than dogma. Still, his critics highlight the tension between utility and moral aspiration, between what works and what's right. So what can we learn from Epicurus today? Perhaps it's this. The good life isn't about having everything, it's about needing less. It's not about avoiding all pain, but understanding which pains are worth enduring for a greater peace. It's not about constant excitement, but sustained serenity. Epicurus doesn't ask us to give up pleasure, but to become wiser in how we seek it. In a world obsessed with more, he invites us to embrace enough. If you found value in today's journey into the mind of Epicurus, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode of The Unfolding Journey. We dive deep into philosophy, history, and life's biggest questions, and there's so much more to explore. Until next time, may your life be full of thoughtful pleasures and peaceful moments. Keep questioning, keep reflecting, and keep unfolding. Epicurus didn't want a perfect society. He wanted a livable one, a place where people could pursue peace, friendship, and pleasure without fear. For him, justice was never about punishment or obedience. It was about mutual advantage, trust, and tranquility. He stripped away divine authority and replaced it with something far more human. The idea that we can agree to treat each other well, not because we're commanded to, but because life is better that way. In doing so, he reframed justice, not as an abstract ideal or cosmic law, but as a human solution to a human problem. If today's dive into Epicurean justice made you think differently about law, morality, and society, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more thought-provoking content from The Unfolding Journey. We explore big ideas with real-world meaning, from ancient wisdom to modern dilemmas, and there's always more to unfold. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may your life be peaceful, thoughtful, and free from fear.